Amit, if you're on the call, would like to see if we can have a quick chat. Um, hey, Amit, how's it going?
Hey Harish, yeah, going good. Going good.
Awesome. Thank you so much for joining us. Amit is here from OYO, and OYO has recently transitioned over to Teams, and they are somebody who also use a lot of apps within Microsoft Teams. So, Amit, if you want to tell us a little bit about the journey so far, I might have a question or two for you.
Yeah, like our journey has been, a short one. Like we transitioned to Teams maybe like 3 months back,
Okay.
as a part of this whole O365 transition. But Teams was the first app that we launched in this whole journey. Like that is what our first, gateway to Microsoft. Um, Journey has been, good so far. We had a lot of, we were a little skeptical about because the whole company was using Slack before that,
Right.
and I was having a mixed feedback from folks that why are we moving here and there. But the only selling point for us was that, when we were in Slack, it was just a collaborative communication and chat kind of an app, right? While Teams give us that ecosystem wherein now this whole, our docs, everything is inside that, and that's where, was the key reason why, we made that shift. It has been good, first of all, it's a new learning every day. Today only I learned about this new contest so thing, so I just made a note. I'll go and explore that.
Awesome.
Uh, Teams, the initial feedback from our team has been good, and while during that migration, I was checking stats on Slack dashboard as well as on Teams dashboard, how the adoption is going on, and there were initial hiccups in first, I would say, 3 or 4 days. But after that, the graph just zoomed up. And the kind of detailed analytics which I was getting, because on Slack, I was just getting number of messages being exchanged, but Teams was much more elaborative. It was even
Awesome.
telling me how many calls are being placed and all. And that gave us a lot of comfort that yes, people are getting used to it. Right. And I can now say after 3 months that we are not missing Slack. Yes, that is also a beautiful product. That team is doing great. But yeah, means from for our use cases and all, it's going perfectly fine so far.
Awesome and awesome. Thanks
Uh,
for
uh,
highlighting
yeah,
that you it's an
yeah,
ecosystem where you've got your files in the same place, and when you said calls, I would assume like one-on-one calls, meetings, all of it. And if I'm
yeah.
not wrong,
Maybe
yeah,
if can I just make one small point? Like, these are small things. For example, when we were doing meetings, when we were on Slack platform, right? We were doing meetings on Google Meet or Zoom, while Slack was our, chat platform, and
right,
there was no big integration. While now when we are setting up our meetings on Teams, this chat, which right now we are doing, is now in my chats,
right,
right? It's a
yeah,
very small thing, but it's so handy that
right.
when I'm talking to you, I'm not worried about whether this chat will get lost. While on a Zoom meeting, I was always worried I need to copy paste that chat, and save it for me.
Yeah, it
So
helps
these
in
are small things
keeping
which
up,
we are,
following up. Yeah, you're right.
yeah,
Just yeah, and it's always in your inbox, right? If you want to go back to it and read through it. Um, um,
right.
and it really helps because internal chat conversations they continue to persist within your organization. So like I know Anil also mentioned about like missing a meeting or like somebody catching up, recurring meetings. The chat's going to persist. All the recordings are going to persist. Any sort of interactions that you have will continue to stay there. That's awesome. Can you tell us a bit about apps that you use inside Teams? What your organization uses.
And that, Harish, that also has been a journey for us. Our first interaction with the apps came in when we were about to launch Teams, and we were a little bit skeptical that how would people know about this new ecosystem? How would they get to learn about Teams,
Right.
right? And I think that's where one of the apps which was suggested to us was a Learn app, I think, which is right there into Teams, which has got a lot of tutorials and all, right? So that
Right.
came in handy. We just bookmarked it. That as soon as you log in, that was the first tab. If you have any question, there are like 8 to 10 or 12 tutorials how to
Right.
do your first interaction with Teams, right?
Right.
And that's how we started our journey with Teams apps. Then we built some custom apps like bots for us, like an HR bot or an IT bot. Like if you have any question, you go and ask your questions over there,
Awesome.
and that became another pointer for people to come on this platform and make it easy for them, right? That gave them that opportunity. And then it really exploded because once people are on the platform, they find their own apps, right? And the very first app I think we installed was DailyBot. Some of our engineers just said, "Oh, can I just go and do it?" And this app is right now being used by almost everyone in the engineering and product team. You
Awesome.
know, Correct. So that's one. And then we started with other integrations and I'm sorry, I'm again referring to Slack, but people love Slack because it has a very open API. Engineers love it because it can very well integrate with your GitHub, Jira, and all that stuff. But when we came in here, it was as equally good, right? So we quickly did all those Jira, GitHub integrations, all those notifications started flowing in, and within a matter of fact, it all worked smoothly. And now my teams are building automation on top of that itself, like maybe approval workflows we are building in teams,
Right.
right? So so that's how it has been. I mean, yeah, it's going great. It's going good,
Awesome.
I would say, right?
I
Because
think you mentioned a few apps here. So you said Daily Bot is something that you said almost everybody regularly uses. I'm going to
yeah,
say uses daily. And then you've
yeah.
got GitHub. You've also got Jira. If I'm not wrong, you're
And
using both of
yeah,
them
and
as
Jira,
well.
and I think you also mentioned about Poly, right? Poly
Right.
is
Yeah.
another one, right? And then that's a great use case. Although all communication platform has it, but it's a good tool to get that real-time feedback in those meetings itself.
Uh,
So that has come up really handy. So these are our first, and again means my app ecosystem is not that elaborate because we are still a beginner in this journey.
Right.
Adoption has been high into product and tech teams, while on ground we are still promoting for that adoption. And that is again maybe for the greater good. I would like to say, like in company like ours, WhatsApp intuitively is a communication platform because people are very much comfortable, and we have been using WhatsApp maybe since it was launched, when we were a startup. But but the Teams chat platform is very much similar to WhatsApp, and that's even better here in that we were experiencing Slack because you can quickly create groups, add people. Now you not don't even need to know their phone numbers. You can just search for emails and just get them added, right? And the best part is why we love it because this also has a limit of 250 members, the same limit that WhatsApp gives us, right? So even the constraints are same.
That's brilliant.
So,
Thank you, Amit. It's so nice to hear that your engineering team, uh, dare I say, almost kind of manages DevOps within team because they stay notified using apps within teams. They've also built custom apps so that they can get extra information going. This is fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you for joining us and sharing your insights. So nice of you. Thank you again.
yeah, thank you. And thank you
Thanks,
for
Amit.
being a partner over there, the kind of support that your teams come and provide and keep on suggesting us these, how we to solve for these use cases. So looking forward to it from here on.
Absolutely, absolutely. Continue to use Poly and Jira. In fact, I think I would say if your team hasn't tried it already, if I'm not wrong, I don't know, like somebody from the ecosystem team can correct me, but Jira is also within meetings, if I'm not wrong. So you should be able to like, your engineering team can actually open up Jira, the app inside a meeting and update your, Jira, right there. So that can also be a new experience that you can start to try out.
This is
That's
really
something that I would leave you with, if
done.
that's okay.
That's good for thought, food for thought. But my other with engineers, I want to cut down on meetings.
More use more apps, put them in channels so that they get notified, and then people will stay informed through the time or the entire time. But yeah, I hear you.
Yeah,
Thank you so much, Amit. Thanks for joining us.
yeah.